All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, so this week's topic we're going to be discussing probes, spike outs, or false breakouts. Okay, now this is also one of my favorite topics out of all the topics that I teach. Okay, now the reason being is spike outs are just like V formations give you a heads up that something's about to happen. A spike out intensifies it. Okay, a probe intensifies it because I can feel that someone is in trouble. Okay, like a spike out, right? When there's a breakout happening in a range, for example, let's say there's a range like this. Ooh, not the straight line, but let's say there's a range like this, and as the market goes like this, it goes up, it goes down, goes up, goes down, but then as it spikes out, but then it comes right back down. All the breakout traders who bought are in trouble, right? So when I see signs like that, it tells me that price does not want to go up. Okay, there's someone there. It doesn't want to go up. There's someone there who smacks it down. The rubber band man's got power. And that tells me whatever the big story might be, let's say the big story is coming down and this is all seller's territory. Okay? If this is all seller's territory, this tells me they're here. That's a horrible check mark, but it tells me they're here, they're alive. And that gives me a heads up that it's time to go. It's time to prepare for these movements. So let's get into probes and spike outs or false breakouts. So, since they're called so many different names, we're just going to label them as probes going forward from here on out, okay? Now, probes they come in various different areas. They can come in ranges. They can come in as trends. They can come in channels. And for the most part, it's very easy to spot them if there's already data, but sometimes it becomes hard to see them if the market is live. And I'm going to explain the two different variations of why that happens. Now, take a look here. You see how the market keeps making a higher high? When the market makes a higher high, there's no probe. It holds. When I put the line here, he makes a higher high, no probe. When I put the line here, there isn't no higher high. It goes higher, but it comes right back. That's a probe. That's a false breakout. Or, if I look at it in a big picture, all the price that went above here is not real. It's fake. Because it never stayed up there. It just, every time it goes up, it comes right back. It goes up, comes right back. These are probes. These are signs that someone is here. Obviously, we know who, right? Blah, 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 right there. Okay, coming from the big picture. But anyways, these are signs that someone is there, and that's a probe there. But now notice, if you were trading it live, right? And then 1 hour passes by, 2 hours passes by, and on your third hour, it's like, how do I know it's going to be a probe or not? Okay, so these are the things you need to train yourself when you see these double tops, these channels and stuff like that, to see, is there a possibility that a probe can happen? So the only way to get good at probes is to trade and monitor and observe probes time and time and time and time and time again. Okay, so it comes back to you need to master it. If you master it, they will start coming to you naturally. Okay, because spotting them in regular conditions, like right here, I just spotted one right now, and I can see that there was no lower low here. Okay, so these are all just probes below, which means there's someone down there who smacks it up, which means buyers want to come in. Okay, but as I see this buyer wants to come in, here's the point. How would I know on this green candle that this is going to be a probe? I don't know. There's no way I can know, right? So you got to do your research ahead of time to be like, okay, wait, first let me figure out whose territory am I in. If I know my territory really, really well, then I will have an idea of a probe can happen. And if the probe happens, let's say you do end up selling here, but then you get stopped out on third green candle here. You should be able to spot that it's not a support equals resistance, but it's also a potential. It's coming back into where it started from. So it's like, if that's the case, then that could be a probe. Now notice when you see these situations, It's like all of this is inside the seller's area the whole time. So you know it's a sell, but then when you see a probe like this happen, you're like, okay, not now. There's someone there. And then it goes down again, spikes back, and then it goes up, but this time it probes on the upper side. Notice if I draw a straight line here from the upper part of the range, it probes on the upper side. Now it's like, okay, it goes more with the story. Okay, so this is a little introduction to probes. Probes give you a very good clean outlook of there was no lower low, there was no higher high. Now, probes also become disguise, and we'll go into the disguises and all that stuff in a bit. So let's go on to some examples.